The investigation continues into the Ethiopian plane crash on that Boeing 737 MAX that killed everyone on board. David Curley has a closer look into this. He's in a flight simulator in Canada. David?
Kim, we are in Toronto. This is a simulator for a 737. This is actually the version before the MAX. This is the next gen. There really aren't any MAX simulators that are available to the public. Air Canada has one, Boeing has one in Miami, but American Airlines doesn't get their MAX simulator until December of this year. But we're going to use this to try and show you what happened in the Lion Air crash, the first crash of a MAX. But first, let me give you a little bit of the news. I am told that investigators from the NTSB are going to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, where the Ethiopians have taken the data from the two black boxes. That means that the analysis from the Ethiopian crash is starting. And while French investigators have told us there are similarities between the two crashes, it's that data will tell us, was there actually something the same that happened, and was it what's called MCAS, which is an anti-stall system, which is new to the MAX. And Aaron Murphy, who's a flight instructor, is going to help us kind of give you a sense of what that would have done in the MAX, in the Lion Air crash, and if it had anything to do with Ethiopia, which we don't know yet. So stalling is when your plane is running out of airspeed and you start to fall out of the sky. Plane doesn't want to do that, either do the passengers or the pilot. And so it's an automatic system that wants to nose down the aircraft to gain airspeed so you can fly again.
Absolutely.
So let's put this into what would be an MCAS. It would automatically, if it's thinking it's stalling, even though you're not, which in Lion Air they weren't stalling, the plane thought they were, the computer thought they were stalling.
Absolutely correct.
So
yes.
it noses down. So
That's
the
right.
yoke on its own, the column, moves forward.
That's right. So the flight controls are going to start reacting. These are my flight controls for the flight path of the aircraft. And I'm feeling a very heavy sensation on these controls as that MCAS malfunction occurs.
Trying to go down.
And we are heading down. You can see it clearly up the front.
Here in Lion Air that they were fighting, pulling back and having a hard time pulling
and
back.
I'd be on the trim, trying to get the trim to recover from this trim down condition, and it would continue to fight me, and it becomes a really, really heavy seesaw situation, okay? Now I'm going to come back to the most important thing, and I'm going to turn off the stabilizer trim.
Before we do that, so the pilots in Lion Air did not do that. I'm going to turn this back on just to show our audience.
Yeah.
So the idea is, listen, this automation is doing something I don't want it to do. The Boeing procedure, which they pointed out after Lion Air and have talked about and reiterated with all of you, is if you don't like the automation,
the shortest answer is just turn off the automation. You can fly the airplane just fine manually.
All right, so you would turn off the autopilot.
Autopilot off.
And now the tail, the horizontal tail is what noses us down.
We are still going down because there's a secondary system that's causing this problem. That's the MCAS malfunctioning. I'm coming to the stabilizer trim switches. I just isolated the MCAS by turning that off. Now I have manual control of the aircraft, but I do have to retrim the tail to get the nose to come back up to cruise, or in this case, I want to start climbing again because I'm getting very close to the ground. I'm trimming, trimming, trimming. I can feel the pressures coming out of the control column, and we're safe once again.
Completely manual. You are flying the aircraft.
Old school manual, no autopilot whatsoever, no automated systems except the auto thrust at this point.
Aaron Murphy, thank you very much. That gives you a sense of what they're supposed to do, which is basically shut off the system and fly the aircraft.
Absolutely.
Kim, back to you.